Simon, we spoke earlier on that West Ham reportedly have held talks with representatives of Ruben Amarin and is under consideration for the job, of course, as and when David Moyes packs up and
is this who Liverpool are interested
left.
in as well?
This was the very same Amarin. Off the back of that,
Sure, I'll be racing to West Ham on that basis then.
Portuguese sources suggest this lunchtime that Amarin unlikely to agree to join West Ham. I mean, what a bizarre business it is, isn't it? I mean, once leaks begin to appear in the media regarding successors, is the writing very much on the wall for incumbent managers? I mean, the manager who's currently in situ. I mean, certainly it's come at a pretty bad time for David Moyes, because off the back of that 5-2 defeat to Palace, Moyes was quite prickly.
I'm so disappointed for the supporters who came here today, and in truth I'm embarrassed to sit here and actually be speaking on behalf of the team on the way they performed today, but I'm the manager. I've got to say, I've not had many teams who've played like that in my whole career, I've got to say.
A day like that, your performance like that, have any bearing on how you feel in terms of your contract situation?
No, nothing to do with it.
No, I mean, it's a bit today, anything bearing on your view of what your future is.
Well, don't ask me any questioning about it then. So because I said that, just answered it.
But you take it out of your hands?
Well, if it is, then it is. Fine, no problem.
Yeah. I'm not so prickly wasn't the word, actually. It's the wrong word to use. He was quite right.
It was intolerant of it.
Yeah, like, give it up. You know, I'm not answering it.
Well, it looked to me like
how's this going on?
It looked to me like a result after the Lord Mayor show. They've had the disappointment later in the latter part of the week of getting knocked out of the Europa League, and it looked to me like a team that was pretty much putting out a performance like that. I mean, I'm not a fan of Kurt Zouma, as I've said repeatedly, we're all joking to one side. The most accurate thing he's kicked in recent times has been a cat, and some of the passes that he put out were just poor, and West Ham weren't at it, and Palace could have been 6 up, and that's against the side that doesn't score many goals. And it wasn't all about how brilliant Palace were, it was about how poor West Ham are. David, I think, is done at West Ham. I think he's done by his own hand. I think, you know, we've been led to believe that he was offered a new contract by West Ham. I think personally, without any inside knowledge, I think he's going to walk away. It's not a case of West Ham. His contract runs out. He announced to us, I believe, or to the media, that there was a new contract in the offing, and he's not yet signed it. And it may well be that he thinks his race is run at West Ham. He thinks he's exhausted what he can. His style of football and the way that he wishes to play doesn't appeal to what seems to be an ever-increasing number of West Ham fans. And, you know, he will look at it and go, I took over from Pellegrini, took you away from relegation, built you a side that gets you to the top end of the Premier League, that gets you European honours and goes deep into even more European competition. And if that's not good enough for you, then it's not good enough for you. And the West Ham fans will say it's a style of play issue. We've got players like Paqueta and Bowen and Kudos. We'd like to see our team further up the field. And both sides are probably right. David's way of playing is a slightly more reserved, not so flamboyant way of playing football, but it gets you results, clearly. So I think David will not be, in my view, I hope I'm wrong, at West Ham next year. Of his own choice, not of him being sacked up. And of course, then what happens is West Ham are going to replace him. So then what you get is agents that can't keep their trap shut, indexing their client to jobs to create leverage somewhere else, possibly. Yeah, well, that's what's coming out of Portugal this lunchtime. Amarin unlikely to agree to join West Ham. Tony, a Liverpool fan, thinks he's got it all sewn up. Gary O'Neill has been interviewed by Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, Liverpool, of course. Arne Slot, Paulo Fonseca, Fonseca, and Jose Mourinho are now the likely candidates. Alonso and Amarin are off the table for Liverpool. Mourinho at Liverpool. 11:45.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.